Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Payton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to The Unwritten Rule, presented by FanDuel. Today is Monday, April 20th. The transfer portal for men's basketball closes in just one day. Now, that is the eternal reminder. That is just for entries. Of course, there are still plenty of names floating around in the transfer portal. Mizzou, of course, has 3 additions. We talked about all 3 of them in our last show, which you should go check out. Bryson Tiller, Jameer Jones, and Jalen Carey. Off to a very good start for the Tigers. And fellas, I have some hypotheticals. We haven't had any news break since. It's been a calm weekend, by comparison for Mizzou in the portal. That hasn't stopped the rumor mill from flowing, the discussions from happening, the discourse from occurring as to what this team is going to look like for the Mizzou men's basketball program in 2026-27. And Payton, I'll let you throw a quick word in there, because one thing I started doing this weekend was just watching, I'm trying to go back and just watch every Jason Crow game I can and just try to get some sort of understanding as to I guess not an understanding, but just a better feel for his game. And subsequently, maybe when I look at these players in the portal, if some sort of piece of the puzzle comes together in my brain that's this makes sense for a Dennis Gates guy to pair with Jason Crow or whatever. But you have said multiple times, Payton, this team, it feels like we just have no idea in terms of the puzzle pieces. It feels like a very difficult build of a roster to foresee for Mizzou. There's no Kobe Brown. There's no Mark Mitchell. You have this elite 5-star guard coming in who, of course, has not played in college yet and doesn't have college tape or numbers that you can digest in the same way that you can with transfer portal guys. It's a confusing roster situation we're in, but an exciting one, I think, for Mizzou, and an exciting one for Mizzou in a year where it feels like the SEC might be right there at the top of the conferences once again, which will be the last hypothetical I give you guys. But I don't know if you have any more thoughts on that. A fun puzzle it's been to me so far this offseason to kind of dissect what's going on with this roster.
It is, and I think it's kind of going back to sort of the positionless expectation that we had from Dennis coming into Mizzou. We expected him to kind of want to bring in a whole ton of guys that can play a bunch of different positions. That's how it was under Leonard Hamilton at Florida State. If you listen to Dennis Gates talk about his philosophies for 20 seconds, Leonard Hamilton's name will come up. But it really hasn't been that way the past couple of years. There's been much more defined roles, and at times I think that has hurt Missouri's offense. It makes them very predictable, at times one-dimensional. So maybe that's kind of the point, is to grab more. I mean, maybe they will run Jameer Jones out there at the 2. I don't know that I love that. I definitely want guys that can space the floor more around guys like Crow, Tiller. And, Pierce is going to be that guy, I think, that you rely on taking a few threes a game. But I think they need another guard there that can sink some threes, and I really think they could use another ball handler as well.
And that puts the Mizzou roster at 12 right now, with 3 transfers coming in, 3 freshmen coming in. With everybody that's still on the roster hasn't entered the portal.
Does that
guys
include
that
Javon?
That does not include Javon Porter. That would put Mizzou at 13 if Javon Porter does get a waiver and returns to the Tigers. But guys that just haven't announced anything publicly, and you don't have to. That's something that's I think it's swept under the rug, is that just because a player hasn't announced anything I mean, that doesn't mean they're not coming back. Like Tanner Boateng hasn't announced anything, but Mizzou posted photos of him working out and, rehabbing as well on his way back from his knee injury. So guys returning like Aaron Rowe, Tanner Boateng, Trent Burns, Trent Pierce, Nicholas Randall, Luke Northweather, still all on that roster. You have 3 transfers coming in, 3 freshmen. And I would expect, maybe Mizzou leaves a spot open, and it kind of goes back to last year as well. Tigers left the spot open. Rotation was pretty deep at the start of the year, got tighter. That spot is there. If Mizzou suffered another kind of season-ending injury, do they look at one of those guys that had the mysterious eligibility and popped up as a player that could, impact your team? You lost Porter and Boateng for the entire season. You had Aaron Rowe redshirting as well as those 3 spots, 3 guys that aren't going to be contributing to your team. Does that happen again next year? When you run into some injuries or injury bugs, do you leave a spot open if you can add someone late?
Yeah, it makes sense that they would do that as far as an injury procedural. And could you have that potential if someone gets hurt, sliding someone in? And good call on you to mention the amount of roster spots left. I think everyone is looking at the guard position as the next area Mizzou goes. I mentioned it last show. I don't know what front court piece you'd really add with a promise of, hey, you're going to get minutes on this team, because now it's a pretty loaded room at forward.
Perhaps a certain freshman.
A certain incoming freshman, you say?
Yeah.
I think I wouldn't pigeonhole him into a front court role by
I would be
himself,
stoked about that one. But that's what I'll leave it at.
He can do a lot more things than the guys that Mizzou has. But I do want to go to the.
Me too.
We're a professional podcast. My mic got
so professional.
Sorry, guys. I want to go to the front court with the first hypothetical I have for you. And what I really want to do, and Payton, maybe this is maybe you'll find this is a fun exercise. Maybe it's impossible to find. I want to go back on like some Michigan message boards or somewhere and find out if a year ago at this time, if Adai Mara was breaking people's brains heading into his Michigan season when he transferred from UCLA, as much as it feels like Trent Burns is breaking Mizzou fans' brains in terms of what people think he's going to be next year. I have seen everything posted about him and his potential role, his impact, what people think his impact should be, what people think his impact can be. And it's very exciting to have a 7'5" guy on the roster. So I'm just going to dish the question to you guys. What is Trent Burns' ceiling next year? And I have 4 players, if you'd like, that I can offer some help if you want sort of a range. And spoiler alert, the top one I put is Adai Mara, because that is the
I can't enough with this Adai Mara nonsense, guys. Trent Burns is not Adai Mara. They don't play remotely similar. They don't look anything like they don't like watch 2 minutes of Adai Mara tape and 2 minutes of Trent Burns tape and tell me if you think those two play remotely similar styles. To ask Trent Burns to even like have the size of Adai Mara, I think would be to ask for him to put on, 60 pounds in muscle his off season. Not going to happen. And it does not need to happen. Trent Burns could be very, very useful. I have the stat line in my head that I like. I want you to go through your hypotheticals.
Oh, that's
first.
good. Yeah.
But I know what I would be happy with out of Trent Burns this year. And it's nowhere near Adai Mara. Not close. You are setting yourself up for misery if you are trying to expect him to get on the Adai Mara strength and conditioning program and break out next year.
That's good. You have a stat line in mind. Do you want Kenny? Do you want to hear the players that I put on the other 3 sort of levels of Trent Burns? And there's sort of 2 that I'm actually thinking of flipping. And I think I am. The first name right below Adai Mara that I put, Kenny will be very familiar with this man because there, I think, is a hidden conspiracy that he is this man. It's Daniel Jacobson from Purdue. Daniel Jacobson last year for Purdue off the bench, 13 minutes a game, 5.5 points, 3 rebounds, 1.2 blocks. By the way, shout out ESPN for the giving me the inspiration for these two names. They did a tallest players in college basketball history. That's what I was referencing, and Trent Burns is of course on that list. The second name Mizzou fans might be very familiar with because he was linked to go to the University of Missouri not once but twice out of the transfer portal. It's Jamarian Sharp out of Western Kentucky fame. Played that one season with Ole Miss. In that one season with Ole Miss, he averaged 3.3 points, 4 rebounds a game, 31 appearances, 15 starts. He averaged 7 and 7 the year before.
It turns out he was not the cure to end world hunger, as a lot of people thought he was.
At Western Kentucky. This is the third name and the last one that neither of you will know. I basically found a guy who was super tall at a high major who stayed there and didn't end up really breaking through. His name is Riley Sorn. He played for Washington for 3 seasons, and in those 3 seasons made a grand total of 40 appearances, averaged 8.2 minutes a game. His last year with Washington, he was at 2.1 points, 1.5 rebounds. All 4 of those guys, I think, are 7'4". I think Jamarian Sharp might be 7'6". So there's a little bit of a range. And Payton, I would take it maybe your Trent Burns' stat line is somewhere in between some of those.
Yeah, I think you would want better than that last guy.
He was the floor. No, sorry to Riley Sorn for that, but
yeah, I think he's more than capable of giving you more than that as well. Jacobson is like what I would like to see, honestly. He averaged 5 and 3. I really would be thrilled if you got the line I always think of as like 6 and 4 out of Trent Burns. I mean, the front court is so loaded now. He does not have to play that many minutes, but if he can come off the bench, grab some boards, maybe block a few shots, I think that's a key for him too. If he could block a shot or two a game, and 6 might even be unnecessary. Like maybe if he gives you 4 and 4, I really think I'd be okay with that. I don't think we need to see Trent Burns leap up and be a lottery pick, National Player of the Year contender for his career to be a success.
Kenny, you agree? You are Daniel Jacobson, so
yeah, I actually got to see him play like on the court. I was like I wasn't eye level with him. I was below him.
I don't think a lot of people can be.
Yeah, I mean, I was floor level, no biggie. Yeah, I would say like 5. My mind went to like 5.5 points would be like my over under is what you would kind of look for each game, and 5 to 6 rebounds would be even more than ideal in that sense. And I think it's worth pointing out too, this will be his first full non-conference slate of his entire college basketball career. He came back from an injury last year, really didn't find his footing until halfway through SEC play. If Mizzou's running up the score late here, definitely more opportunities for minutes to get carry off his feet and see how that one kind of plays out. I think he'll play
more than garbage time.
Oh no, I'm just saying in general. I mean, that's going to be an uptick in minutes as well when you're blowing out teams.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just to have that non-con experience, especially considering the schedule Mizzou plays, he's probably going to be able to get a lot of run and maybe have a little bit of a better ramp up. I will point out, too, another reason that I picked Daniel Jacobson, who, by the way, I think is going to have a much bigger season for Purdue with their situation. He's going to play a lot more next year. Like Trent Burns, has dealt with injuries. His first year, he appeared in 2 games, and then I think blew out his knee or something happened to him where he got hurt. And then last year was able to appear in 39 games, got up to 13 minutes for a team that ended up being a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. So, of course, Matt Painter does very well with big men. He is known for his development of those guys, but I don't think that's unreasonable at all for Trent Burns. I think anything above that is, and anything above probably the stat line Payton said is probably, a cherry on top or playing with house money or whatever you want to call it. But he's a young player. I think he can, really have a fun, refined offensive skill set too. I think one of the things that makes him such a difficult guy to pin down is he's obviously not, you put that tweet up, Kenny, like he's improving physically. You know, there's scout reports that read about him in high school that's what he had to do. He was underdeveloped. So he's not obviously this like Manute Bol, Wemby defensive like beast off the bat. He's got to work on that. He's not a physical like, or even, you know, I go to a guy that a lot of Mizzou fans wanted in the portal, like a Searle, right? Who's like 6'10" and just a monster shot blocker and is going to be just a rock in the lane. Trent Burns is not that, but he has potentially more to offer his game that can make him dynamic and really make him, I think, still an important part of the rotation next year, even if it's not him averaging a double every game. I think that's just kind of where we're at with him. I will point out too, oh, actually, never mind. I was going to point out if Jacobson made threes, he shot 8 threes all season. So maybe there's some more wiggle room for a guy like Burns there. But I wanted to find some players. I was curious, especially when I saw that list of the tallest guys of all time. So that's my first hypothetical. Second one, of course, I mentioned it. The portal closes on Tuesday. A guy in the portal, but who had some social media postings. This felt like a classic NCAA or a transfer portal storyline. T.O. Barrett, of course, has not found a new spot yet. Was taking things off of his Instagram bio, shall we say. I think what did he remove at Mizzou Hoops? He put the laughing emoji up and then he put Mizzou Hoops back. Was that the saga that unfolded? I think that was the right timeline of events there. So a little bit of that going on. There was some, then some, of course, talk naturally about could maybe a return be in the offing for T.O. Barrett, which made me think, Kenny.
Yeah, I mean, the laughing emoji's still there.
Oh, it's still there. Okay.
Yeah.
So Mizzou Hoops was not returned to the bio. It was just removed.
It was maybe, but I mean, it was definitely there and then removed.
Right. That's the point. And it made me think, and so this is the question I'll pose. Would you rather, if Mizzou only adds one more guard, let's say, they use the other scholar, maybe Javon Porter comes back and, the rest of the scholarship shake out how they do. They add one more transfer guard in this hypothetical. Would you rather have T.O. Barrett back or someone from the wide range of guards still in the portal? And then I will challenge as well if you have any names, because this prompted me to look at some more guards that are in the portal currently for Mizzou.
I'd take the field. I don't think there's a great fit with T.O. I mean, whether he knows or not, knows the system or not, I don't see where his niche fits in this year. He hasn't shown any real reason to believe he's going to become like a knockdown 3-point shooter. I truly do not trust his court vision. I think Mizzou, if they were to add only one more guard, they either need to be someone who you can rely on to knock down a couple threes a game, or someone who's pretty safe with the ball and able to really manufacture some offense. That's just not someone, and by that I don't mean fling yourself to the basket and try to fire up a shot with 3 guys around you. T.O. in certain instances, certain iterations of Mizzou could be useful. I don't know that they need him this year. They have a jam-packed front court that you would imagine would be doing the bulk of the work down low. Do you really need, if whoever's playing the 5, let's say it's Burns in there, maybe it's Tiller running some 5, Carey's in there. Those guys are all playing closer to the basket. Do you really want T.O. trying to fling his way in there? I don't know. It's not impossible for it to work. I know, honestly, Ant benefited a whole ton from having Josh Gray be able to kind of act like a bowling ball in the lane a lot of times and just clear a ton of guys out. Because, again, this is a certified Josh Gray was underrated podcast. But Ant's game was so much more dynamic offensively than T.O.'s is. T.O. is not a bad player. He is very energetic. He's a pesky defender, very good in transition, mostly. But he has real flaws, and I think those flaws would matter more to this team. Would be more of a hindrance than his strengths would be able to help this team. I think they're better off separating.
Yeah, Kenny, I'm curious your thoughts there, and I want to clarify too that I didn't mean this. I don't mean this question at all to be a dunking on T.O. Barrett segment, so to speak, and I don't think you did, Payton, either. It's more of kind of what you alluded to, where he is a kind of confusing player to pin down because there were some highs last year, and those, you don't want to outright ignore those either if you have a take there with Mr. Barrett.
Yeah, I think we learned last year that Mizzou and Dennis Gates, have kind of missed on transfers before. Getting a guy like Sebastian Mack who just didn't fit the rotation that they're kind of known for and what they're known for just offensively as well. And I think that's why Mizzou might be hesitant with T.O. Barrett, because surely, like with everything Payton explained, his role will not look anything similar to what it did last year, especially down the stretch as he became a starter in SEC play and surely made himself more money in that time as well, taking over for Anthony Robinson and putting himself in these conversations to go out in the portal and try to see if he can, find a better deal somewhere else. So I think in my mind, though, if you don't bring back T.O. Barrett, find someone in the Horizon League. I mean, this is something that Dennis Gates has done really well for years now. If you can find someone with efficient shooting splits and can kind of command a rotation as well and facilitate scoring, I mean, that's just your guy. And I think if you can find a guy who's a senior too, just an older guy that can play right behind Jason Crow, junior, I think you're in an ideal spot. You can't go in the portal and build what I just said, but you still have until Tuesday if someone's going to enter. And I think it can take up to 48 hours, I believe is the time slot. So we could see guys still entering by Thursday. I think Mizzou will weigh its options correctly because they've really kind of filled out some of those top needs and probably spent a good amount of money at that same time.
Yeah, I think you guys nailed it. I don't know that a higher usage rate or a higher amount of minutes or higher number of shots would be coming T.O. Barrett's way if he comes back, putting him next to a guy like Crow, who you definitely want so much of your offense to be ran through. And then, that makes it difficult to see what other area he then takes a leap in. I've been using a lot of Evan Mia lately this offseason. They have their own little performance rating, index. And, offensively, he graded much lower than a guy like Trent Pierce and Anthony Robinson. Defensively, in terms of his impact, nothing really stand outish either. I do agree, Payton, like you look at something like that versus actually watching the games, he definitely could be pesky. He's a very tenacious rebounder. He actually finished, he was 11th in the SEC in a steal percentage. I didn't realize that. Ended up finishing, fairly high there. And there are a lot of things that are intriguing. When he was able to get going, it was hard to stop him with those drives. And there are players that, he could remind you of at times. But yeah, it's just, I struggle to also see kind of where does that growth come? Where does that role lie for him if he comes back? And maybe if that works out, Dennis has something in mind for that. However, if it's a situation where, I don't think there isn't, if he's the only guy you can sway out of the portal, is just him coming back. I don't think there isn't a spot for him in the rotation. I think you'd absolutely still find something. And I think you could still be very happy having T.O. Barrett back in the fold with what he brought last season. He obviously still also oozes this identity that Mizzou was able to cultivate through portions of those 2024 or those 2025 and 2026 seasons that I think is important too. So if it's a case of like you get T.O. Barrett or nothing, you're certainly taking the talents of T.O. Barrett back. But I have been prompted to, this goes back to what I said at the top of just the conundrum of who you want to add. I think you guys are both right with the shooting. I think a lot of what Mizzou needs to focus on replacing in the backcourt is someone who can be as pesky of a defender as Anthony Robinson was able to be 2 seasons ago. I think that's, up there, maybe as important, maybe more important, depending on your opinion, as finding a shooter whether it's you get this with two different players or can try and get it with one player, someone who can fill what Anthony Robinson was able to do defensively and with what Caleb Grill brought you with the shooting off the bench. So what I did, and I sent Payton 8 names.
You did.
I looked up.
Looking them up.
I looked up the highest shooting percentages and just Command F to see who was in the portal, and I did the same thing with this Evan Mia defensive rating and found some of the guards who were in there. I'll just rip through the names. There were a couple I threw on that I just watched last season that I thought were good players. Christian Harmon from Arkansas State. That one I think is
Harmon's a popular one.
Yeah, he's a very popular name. And again, I don't have any intel here. I don't know if Mizzou has even contacted these guys, but these are fun.
They've contacted Harmon.
Harmon, they have. I knew he was on lists, but so aside from him, I don't know where or if Mizzou stands for any of these guys, but I'll just rip through the names. Mikey Lewis from St. Mary's, Deshane Montgomery from Dayton, David Terrell Jr. is a guy from North Texas. Nick Janowski, St. Thomas guard. Elijah Crawford was really good for Illinois Chicago. They went to the MVC title game with him, lost to Drake. Kareem Thomas, who is out of, I think I have to check. Dartmouth. And then Nasir Whitlock, who's he's a more popular name in the portal in general. He is the Lehigh guard. You might have seen him if you're in college basketball circles, hit a half-court buzzer beater beat Holy Cross. That's, if you look his name up on Twitter, like half the posts are about that. But I don't know, Payton, if you've taken a brief look at any of them, if you have an opinion. I don't want to run through all 8 because that would take.
Yeah, we won't run through all 8. One thing that does stick out to me is you can find, all of these guards are kind of similar to T.O., and they have more of a niche role that would really help Mizzou. The difference being that I think some of these guys have more specific skill sets that would benefit this iteration of Mizzou than T.O. Most of these guys are not great. They don't have a great assist to turnover ratios and 3-point percentages. That's kind of what it is at the moment. Missouri spent big on a lot of different areas. And now you're going to have to probably sit in a lower tier in the guard market. Harmon is super popular just because he shot 35%, I believe it was, from deep, which is a solid 3-point percentage. And he filled it up. I mean, he shot made over 200 attempts from deep last year.
Yeah. I think he's 6'5" or 6'6" too. He's kind of got that. He's a little bit of a bigger guard. So
there's some intrigue there. I thought Janowski was a little interesting. He's around a 34% 3-point shooter, decent assist to turnover. I will say he was just a freshman last year. Took a whole ton of shots, but he intrigued me a little bit. Crawford only played 23 games last year, so I don't know what the circumstances around that were. I'm not going to lie to you. I looked at Kareem Thomas and was not liking what I was saying. I did not like Kareem Thomas.
He was my guess for one that you were going to be by. I think his usage rate was in the 30s.
Yeah, certainly can fill it up. 44% from deep on 4 attempts a game. So if they maybe brought him in as just a sharpshooter, I think that would be okay. Especially you maybe would have his usage go way down. But man, 2.3 turnovers to 1.5 assists a game is rough. That is a rough number.
Very rough.
And that's kind of what I go back and forth to whether I want them to get a sharpshooter to help with spacing or just a guy that's more safe with the ball. It's kind of pick and choose at this point. Pick your poison. You can talk me into either or, I think.
I think the difficult part with this too is all of these guys were either, 1A or 1B in terms of their importance to whatever mid-major program they were with. I mentioned the things like usage rating, where it's hard to project to say, okay, we'll bring this guy in who was, taking 10 field goal attempts a game and all these threes, and leading his team in scoring and saying, okay, you're going to come off the bench and be our seventh man and just shoot threes, and that's all you're going to do. Like, I wonder if who Dennis ends up bringing in, if he's looking for something like that. You have to sort of find those like Caleb Grills where they're sort of maybe an auxiliary guy. Their numbers don't look at as impressive, but they know how to knock down shots. They can do it at an efficient clip, but maybe they're not, in the top 10 in 3-point percentage, and also didn't, lead their team in scoring and average 15 or 16 a game. It's a little bit like, that's where it can be a little bit hard to find. And that's where I think Dennis has gone either right or wrong with some of the guys he's found in those guard roles, where you find your Caleb Grills, but for every Caleb Grill, there's then, like a Jesus Carolero, where you're just like, why is this guy here?
I think Grill is also just different because, he was a very important piece of that Iowa State team before he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is worth considering.
Yeah, I'm not making an apples to apples comparison with him necessarily either.
But that's just kind of, I think Missouri probably, some of it does depend on Javon Porter. I think you can argue Missouri should almost certainly not put any stock into whatever happens with Javon Porter either way, but it kind of seems like they're waiting on that decision. Either way, I think they need 3-point shooting and maybe a ball handler. So it is going to be more difficult at this point in time. You typically don't see mammoth portal entrants this late that are like a cure-all for your portal woes. But we'll see how they attack it. I believe Jayden Stone was the last commit they got last year. So you never know. There could be that type. There's probably someone who we've never heard of that's going to be one of these last few ads. And maybe they'll become a contributor.
Yeah, I really think it's going to be someone on the older side. Do you guys want to guess who the oldest guard is currently on this Mizzou team for next year?
Does Jones count?
Currently,
no, it can't be.
I'm not counting Jameer Jones, but yeah, he's not even the oldest.
You're not
It
counting
might be
Pierce.
Rowe.
You're not counting Pierce either, are you?
Boateng. That's the he's still listed as a guard. And looking at his numbers too, I know we know he hasn't played the most games in his career. He's up to 32 through 2 seasons. Coming back from a knee injury, there's no public timeline on what that looks like. So I really think it could be someone in that Jayden Stone camp. And Payton, you talk about one of the latest commits. He committed to Mizzou on May 4th. So that's still a ways away, and that was when a transfer portal was open during the NCAA tournament. It's like this is a transfer portal that was pushed back until after the Final Four was over. Mizzou could take its time.
It's difficult to when you're in the position it feels like Mizzou is in now, where it does feel like you need maybe 2 players to do 2 distinctly different things. And you look at these guys and it's like, can you almost scale what they did at some of these places down to what their involvement will be at Mizzou? Because the nice reality for Mizzou, of course, is you don't need them to be a 30% usage rate guy, or, score the same amount that they scored with their mid-major team, or I am very in on the hunt to try and find said name that we have never heard of that will end up being on the roster, and seeing if I can put a finger on it. But there were some, so feel free, if you're watching, listening, to go do those at your leisure. This last one, we can take as long or short as we want on this one. I wanted to broaden it out to the SEC as a whole, because I was just kind of looking around the transfer portals and thinking about 2 seasons ago and where the league ended up being. And by the way, the SEC certainly was not a bad league last year. It was definitely over double digits teams in the NCAA tournament. You had teams like Texas as an 11 seed go to the Sweet 16 and make all sorts of runs. So wasn't a bad league next year. You think it was bad?
It was kind of bad.
You think the SEC was bad last year?
A little. I think there were more bad teams than not this time last year. Tennessee made the Elite Eight. Texas made the Sweet 16. But Florida got bounced in round 2 by a bunch of D2 transfers. Sure. That sound familiar? Missouri was embarrassed on home court. I I can't even really think of what the rest of them did. A&M won a game, so props to them. They did win more games than I thought they'd win. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't too hot on the league.
Texas went to the Sweet 16. Alabama went to the Sweet 16. Arkansas went to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, but Alabama is so. Who did they played Texas Tech, right?
Yep. And then Michigan.
Yeah. How was JT Toppin in that Alabama game?
I mean, if you really want to get nitpicky, we can get nitpicky, I guess.
I don't know. I wouldn't say it was the strongest year for the SEC. I think this year is going to be a very different story, though.
Well, so you answered my hypothetical, which was, is the SEC going to be back to what it was in 2024-25 when it was literally breaking records for tournament entries and Ken Pom teams at the top? Missouri is right up there, but they are not the only team that is having success in the transfer portal so far this offseason. Texas, Tennessee. I actually do want to do a quick guess the line. Who does FanDuel have right now as the highest, best odds to win the national championship among SEC teams? I can tell you they are 4th overall.
Probably Florida.
It is Florida, plus 1,200.
But that would not be my pick right now.
Would Arkansas be 2?
Arkansas is 2 there, plus 1,600.
That was going to be my guess.
Who's your guys' favorite portal addition for Arkansas so far?
It's a good question.
Somebody to choose from.
Yeah,
exactly.
Good question. But when you are talking about the portal, I mean, it's funny when you talk about Florida, actually, because you can say the same question for Florida. Florida does not have a transfer portal or 2026 recruit committed yet. Denzel Aberdeen needs to get a waiver if he is going to get approved for another year of eligibility. That said, they could potentially get Alex Condon, Ruben Chinyelu, and Thomas Houck all back in the fold. Condon, I know, is already committed to returning. I think Chinyelu and Houck are both doing the draft process thing.
There's no way Chinyelu wouldn't come back, right?
I don't know.
Is he a high draft pick? You would know.
He's a second rounder right now. Houck is the big one, of course. He was the first teamer in the SEC, first team All SEC guy. And then the two big portal teams, of course, that we should mention are Texas and Tennessee. Payton's going to go into one Tennessee signing in quick hits, but Tennessee, I think, has 5 portal additions. Texas has 4. They just got Elijah Freeman from Auburn today. On Sunday when we're recording this. They look very
Texas
scary.
Got Freeman?
Yes.
Oh, wait, no. Okay, that's a different Freeman, right?
Elijah Freeman from Auburn.
Not the one from Syracuse.
No.
Okay, good. Whew. You scared me, Jack. I thought Texas was about to run the league.
They actually took Amari Evans from Tennessee. They got David Punch from TCU, Isaiah Johnson from Colorado. So that's 4 high major transfers. You can name whoever you want. I mean, Alabama always seems to reload every year. We'll see what happens with Arkansas. You both are right to point out they don't have any portal names. However, they're going to, of course, lose Acuff. They could get Malik Thomas back. He was an all-freshman player. They could get Billy Richmond back, who was an all-defensive team guy from a year ago. And John Calipari does what John Calipari does. Vanderbilt. Tanner, he's not in the portal, is he?
No.
Okay. I missaw something about that somewhere. So Vanderbilt's going to have an all SEC first teamer back. And then there's LSU, which currently does not have a player on its roster. So there's some teams. SEC could be scary.
Yeah. You mentioned Texas. They've gone berserk in the portal, which really frustrates me because nobody down there cares about it. But, that's what it is. Sean Miller has his ways. Guys like Punch are like massive additions for them. I know Florida might be waiting on hearing back about like Chinyelu and Hawk because they've also been like the hot name for the Iowa State guy.
For Milan Momcilovic, yes, from Iowa State. Yes.
So I know that's one they're waiting on. Like you said with Arkansas, I made fun of their transfer class, but they are waiting on like Richmond. I'd imagine Richmond.
2 5-stars too, I think, for them in the class.
Malik Thomas could go back.
JJ
Andrews. Don't they have another one?
American.
Big one.
Do they have 2,
Jordan
Kenny?
Smith's the big one.
Yeah, Jordan Smith. And they have a third recruit. Oh man, I always forget his name.
But I mean, Richmond, I'd imagine, would certainly go back. I really hope Malik Thomas doesn't go back. He's really good. I mean, you look around, LSU is baffling because there was talks about them having this crazy budget lined up for Will Wade, and they have not signed. I haven't even seen them linked to anybody. Like, it's not even like they're missing on some big guys. I haven't seen them in the running.
Kenny's got a link.
They are linked to an international player right now.
That's embarrassing. Good point. They're linked to no one we've heard of.
Abdou Toure is the other one that I forgot about, but that's 3 top 21 players in the country too coming in for Arkansas.
Arkansas will be good, I guess, but they'll be a good team, especially if they get Malik Thomas back. So I don't even think at this point in the portal, there's almost no way like a team like LSU can come back from that. That's just too much attrition. So you're hopefully getting a gap year with Will Wade taking over. The Mississippi schools do not seem to care about what happens to the basketball programs anymore. Mississippi State is basically the Josh Hubbard military state at this point. He's just running the show there. I have no idea what
Josh Hubbard dictatorship.
Yeah, essentially. South Carolina has actually impressed me a little bit.
Yep.
They've made some moves in the portal. It seems like they're giving Paris a little bit of support.
Doesn't shock me in the slightest, by the way.
Yeah, we'll talk about Tennessee more in the portal, like in quick hits. But they've been really good right now. I hate to admit it. I think Tennessee would be my pick to win the league, and that's with them losing guys like Estrella. They've had to do a full overhaul, but I think they're going to be a better team. Kentucky's had some real high profile whiffs. That's been an interesting one. But they got Zoom Diallo and what's the other guy's name? Alex Wilkins.
Yep.
From Furman, who they're comparing to John Wall and who?
Eric Bledsoe.
Jesus Lord. So they've got the bar.
Good college player, Eric Bledsoe. I will put some respect on Eric Bledsoe's name.
I'm more talking about comparing Diallo.
I know.
And Alex Wilkins,
Fair
Wilkins
enough.
was a freshman at Furman last year.
Fair enough.
Okay, and so Kentucky fans, as you can tell, are have set reasonable expectations. I think Vanderbilt will be good. They'll get Tanner back most likely. They got Dak from Colorado, who's a good player. So it'll be an interesting league. But I will be honest, I still look around the league and I look at Missouri. I don't see a reason Missouri cannot be in the thick of the SEC race for a lot of the season. On paper, I think Missouri can measure up there.
That's where we differ from 2024, where everyone was quaking in their boots about how Missouri would compete, and then they ended up finishing 4th in a wagon of an SEC year. I went through. I like to do this every year now with the portal and the draft guys and the eligibility guys. If you go through all of the SEC teams, so that includes the defensive and freshmen with question marks and confirmed returners. You've got Hauk from Florida and Tyler Tanner from Vanderbilt, who can come back on the first team. Chinyelu from Florida on the second team. Condon from Florida on the third team. Aiden Holloway and Josh Hubbard on the third team for Alabama and Mississippi State. Chinyelu again was on all defensive. Billy Richmond all defensive. Amari Allen from Alabama was on the freshman team. He might come back if he doesn't go to the draft. Malik Thomas from Arkansas you mentioned, and then Kentucky is getting one of those back too with Marino, one of their bigs. So that's all the guys who are maybes or for sure coming back from the all league teams on top of some very good transfers. League could be very, very scary next season. All right. There you go. There's 45 minutes of hypotheticals, of which
I love make-believe land.
Make-believe land is great. I never mind living in make-believe land.
Florio land.
Much more
fun. Best way to put it.
Florio land. Mike Florio, you're welcome on anytime. As is Josh Hubbard. And I don't know why either of them would come on the pod, but we'd be happy to have them. Maybe McFlorio. I was going to say.
Want to do a mock draft, Michael?
Yeah, does he? He's not a big draft guy, is he?
I don't know.
I don't think
You
so.
know the draft is Thursday.
Draft is Thursday. Yeah, we're going to have some Mizzou in the NFL draft and quick hits.
Wow.
Perfect.
That's quick.
Perfect
We might
segue.
need to see if our good pal, the Jakester, can hop on.
We are sending Payton to Pittsburgh. Breaking news.
Nope, I ain't going to Pittsburgh, y'all.
He's going to be live in the field.
Ooh, he said y'all. Look at that. Living in Texas for 2 years now. He said y'all.
He's
We
a
said
y'all.
y'all in North Carolina.
He said
too.
y'all. You're from Chicago.
I know. But I lived in North Carolina for like ages.
After my first 3 years in college, coming from the upper Midwest and not saying y'all, I would come back and come back home and I still say it. And sometimes I have friends who still make fun of me for
No,
using
so you
it all
don't
the
get
time.
it. Kenny's from Houston, and Texans are the only ones allowed to say
it.
Yeah.
I use it. I use it a lot now.
Don't be fooled by the Orioles hat, guys. Kenny's, which is a lovely Orioles hat, by the way. I'm not making fun.
Or the shirt. I'm not from France. I'm just wearing a Tour de France shirt.
Kenny is a man that loves culture.
And with that, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back with quick hits. Ding, 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 ding. You got there. You go. You got to unmute yourself if you're gonna ring a bell or something. We'll be back. Okay, quick hits time. Finish up the show. What do you laughing?
I just kind of clocked what Kenny said right before we started.
I didn't even hear it.
He said, "Oh, we're all wearing black, like a happy Easter kid."
We're wearing black
very...
to the Daily Dozen trivia funeral because we're
to our own funeral, which is doing horrible at the Daily Dozen, which we're doing right now. Kenny, start us off.
How many are we getting?
How many are we getting?
3.5.
Okay.
Deion.
Not a good
Deion
start.
Sanders began his NFL
start.
career with 5 seasons with this NFC team from 1989 to 1993 before stints with San Francisco and Dallas. Atlanta?
ATL.
College football. DK Metcalf was teammates with this Ole Miss wide receiver and later Super Bowl champion who had 1,300 yards in 2018. I hear this at least once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I can't imagine why, Kenny.
Is there dots or no?
No,
I don't know if it matters. Oh yeah, there are.
AJ Brown.
Coached by
Jacob Peeler. Here's a good one. Oh my gosh.
No way.
This is ridiculous. This is targeted towards us today. These are both Mizzou related. Almost.
That's a troll. Yeah, it's tough.
No
College basketball.
way.
After transferring from Wichita State, Austin Reeves averaged over 16 points per game for this at this time Big 12 school from 2019 to 2021, but went undrafted. Oklahoma.
So there is a
Brady
fact.
Manic, man.
There is a fact.
UNC?
I believe four of the 5 first team all Big 12 players that year were either 4 or 5 star recruits. And the 5th one was Austin Reeves, who was nothing.
That is just horrible.
That game. Man, walking out of that stadium was one of the worst walks back from a post game.
That was bad. Kenny and I were. Oh.
We walked right back in and we watched Shaka Smart coach's last game at Texas.
See, that's where you guys were smart. You offset it by being at more NCAA tournament stuff. I just went home or went to the hotel I was staying in and just sulked. That was miserable. Continue.
Retail and shopping.
Thank you, Austin Reeves.
Known in some parts of the country as America's Tire, this American auto retailer has over 1,200 locations in the United States, and its logo in its name is red and black print.
I was trying to do a joke what the tire dealership and tires is.
No, it's something. I think it's discount tire.
Yes, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Did it.
Correct.
What's the tire shop in tires called?
I
don't remember what it's called.
Okay, that doesn't
You
help.
guys are just gonna find it by looking up tires.
I mean, it's a famous TV show.
No, I get it.
Valley Forge.
Valley Forge Auto. I was gonna say that.
All right, celebrity matchup for the YouTube viewers.
This one doesn't count, so we still have the perfect game, even if this doesn't work out. And I don't know either of the faces.
Yeah. All right, grocery products.
Was
Payton.
one of those Anne Hathaway?
Why
That's
are you
a good
asking me?
shout. The face, actually, yeah, I think the eyes kind of look like Anne
The
Hathaway.
eyes look like Anne Hathaway, but
Is that the guy from The Bear?
No, the face is too chiseled.
it looks like someone familiar. But
Something Allen, what Allen White, Jeremy
Yeah,
Allen
he
White.
plays
No.
Rhoda
Jimmy
the
Allen.
Hutt.
Yeah,
just
we'll
do it.
put
Just
Jeremy
do it.
Allen. Yeah, he
The
does.
fact
play
we have
Rhoda.
2 names to put is a good for us.
All right, we didn't get either.
Neither of them right. All right.
All right, Peyton. This brand of cheese dip produced
Why
by
are you
Kraft.
asking me?
Because you're a cheese guy. You love cottage
No.
cheese. Oh, no, you said no, but you are.
Oh,
Comes
you
in
do
red
love-
cans with
you
yellow
do love
prints,
cottage cheese.
or in jars with a red wrapper and yellow print.
I like cottage cheese, not regular.
I do.
I'm not
I do a little bit
whatever.
resent.
I know what this is, but I don't know what it's called.
Isn't this Bell something? Bluebell.
The Bluebell's
No,
ice
that's
cream.
an ice cream.
Oh, red cans.
Peyton would know that because he lives in Texas now. Television. Following her Oscar-nominated breakout in one battle after another, Chase Infinity is now starring in The Testaments, a spin-off of this Hulu series that ran from 2017 to 2025.
God, I have
No idea. The perfect game is over.
Shout out Chase Infinity, but I don't know.
Perfect game's been over. Handmaid's Tale.
I don't think there's a
Yeah,
spin-off.
sure.
Oh my gosh, sorry, I did not mean.
You are a liar. I don't believe a word you say.
That is the only Hulu show I know that's like original.
You're so full of it. Kenny
No!
cheats. He's
I did not cheat. 2017, 2025. I remember my mom watching this show when I was in high school.
Peyton,
That's all
if
I know.
he's cheating, he sold the reaction pretty well. I will give it to him.
I'm not cheating because I have no idea.
I
what
don't
this
think
is.
you are.
I have no idea what this craft is.
Does your roommate Aaron like your reaction there?
I don't know. The door's closed.
I do a little bit resent Peyton being called the cheese guy. My pride is a little bit.
I'm not the cheese guy. I like cottage
You're the
cheese.
cheese guy. Cheese.
I said
Mark Wahlberg starred in this 2008 neo-noir action film based on a video game series of the same name. Tron?
is he in Tron?
I don't think so.
I don't think Tron was a video game.
I don't think so.
Mortal Kombat?
No.
He's
Is
not
that
in Mortal Kombat. Is he?
2008? 2008
Um,
though. Is this
Tomb Raider?
The Departed.
did that come out in 2008?
I'm
Is this,
joking. That's not
Tomb Raider?
Is it that Pixel movie? Pixels?
No, that's before. This is before
Isn't he in
that.
that?
You know what's
I don't
funny?
think
He's
in Pickles.
isn't Mark Wahlberg in the what's the movie with Tom Holland?
Yeah, that's what Peyton just said.
Uncharted. But
Is that
that
what
was
you just said?
later.
Yeah.
Is he not in Tomb? He's not in Tomb Raider.
Put Tomb
I don't
Raider.
think
I don't know if it
that's-
came out this early, did it?
I don't know.
Ooh.
Oh, there's. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, music. Made for the Lion King soundtrack, this 1994 Elton John
Circle of
song.
Life.
No. You gotta let him. Uh-oh.
Oh well. I don't know.
Oh, was a Billboard's Hot 100 top 5 and won the Oscar for Best Song. Crocodile Rock.
It's the circle of life.
Yeah, probably. Is that in that?
God damn it, I can spell Crocodile Rock.
Croca, right? Crack A? Nope.
I think they're
How do you
Tiger
C-R-O-C-K?
Rock.
Is it C-R-O-C-K? Oh my god.
No,
this is
no,
ridiculous.
Crocodile
oh,
Rock.
okay. So that's not a real song.
And also, Crocodile Rock is a real song, and it probably came out before 1994.
Yeah, it's not a real song.
C-R-O-C-O. C-R-O-C-O. You didn't type it right.
Yeah, it's just not in there.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just gonna skip it. You
Hold
guys
on.
ready?
Wait.
Yeah, let
it's
Peyton look it
coming
up.
to me. It's coming to me. You can feel the love tonight.
I don't remember.
Oh
Okay.
wow, that was awesome! What a pull for me.
All right,
Oh, the celeb mashup was only 3%. That one was low. Daisy,
Will
yes.
Poulter.
Oh my God. That yeah. I should have got
Will
Daisy Edgar
Poulter.
Jones. She's in the Twisters movie.
Max Payne. Oh my God. I remember seeing commercials
no idea
for
there was
that.
a Max Payne movie.
No idea.
All right. Grocery products. Cheese Whiz. Oh my gosh.
We're dumb.
How did
Oh
we
my
not
God.
guess?
We're dumb.
That is so bad. We could have done really well. We did better than we thought. We spent a lot of
Yeah.
time on this too. That was a really long time.
Well, they
The
threw
same
Austin
name.
Reeves at us, and we were thrown off after that.
We
Not
were
a bad
losing
board.
viewers rapidly, though.
We went 3 for 6 after the Austin Reeves question. Tigers in the Wild. Kenny.
My Tiger in the Wild goes to Anthony Robinson II. Announced his transfer on Friday, Thursday, right? Yeah, Thursday.
Doesn't matter.
Versus Florida State. Yeah, it does matter. It does matter to everyone. But he's going to Florida State for his final year of college.
I'm happy for Ant. I think this is a perfect landing spot for him. I think he'll be really, really good in the ACC. I think that's a great addition for Luke Laux. So good for Ant, good for Florida State. I really do hope the best for him.
I also like this for Ant. I think it will be, you've seen him on a lot of transfer portal lists, like, analysts and people clearly can still tell how talented he is. So I think he will help Florida State a lot next year. So wishing the best for Mr. Anthony Robinson. Payton, your Tiger in the Wild.
My Tiger in the Wild, this happened just before we started recording. Kim English has informed UNC officials that he's decided not to pursue an assistant coach position at UNC. That's strange. It kind of got widely reported. You don't typically see these types of things happen with assistant coach jobs. So curious why that was. MIZ coming home? Who knows? They got an open position now, but
now it's supposed to be filled.
Yeah, I think we all know where that one's headed. So,
indeed, I wish best luck for Kim English too. I think he's a good coach. It ran its course a little bit at Providence, but he recruited. I mean, it's interesting. Like a lot of the players from his team last year are obviously ending up still at high major places. So, recruited pretty well. But
fun thing I just noticed, that second coach on the bench behind Kim there, if you want to zoom in, Kenny, that is Dennis Felton. He was the coach at Cleveland State right before Dennis Gates.
Oh.
So, small world.
That is fun. Small world indeed. My Tiger or Tigers in the Wild, Mizzou softball. I was banking on them winning their game maybe on Sunday. Unfortunately, they did not. However, they did get a win on Saturday over South Carolina. Biggest margin of victory in SEC play, won 5-0. Unfortunately, they did lose on Sunday, 4-0. So they are 24-24 in the year now. Big series coming up. They only have 2 regular season series left before the SEC tournament. They are at Arkansas this
I believe they have a couple non-cons too, don't they? Maybe.
Yeah, I think there are a few one-off. I can tell you. I know it's Arkansas and Tennessee are the series. They will play UMKC in between those two. So just the one non-con.
Don't lose to UMKC. That's pretty much the equivalent of a free space.
Yeah.
Unless
so
you're Consul Martin's last team at Mizzou.
Arkansas and Tennessee got to stack some wins for Mizzou softball. Maybe roll into the SEC tournament, but they did get a nice win on Saturday. Unfortunately, could not follow it up on Sunday. Kenny, your headline this week.
Sticking in women's sports, headline comes from Missouri State. Lady Bears Inc. transfer Hannah Linthacum. This will be the first time since the 2018 season that there won't be a Linthacum at Missouri. Hannah Linthacum entered the transfer portal after this past season. She redshirted due to an injury, and she ended up staying in her home state. She's from Jefferson City, and she's going to be going to Mo State next season.
Does Mizzou schedule Mo State for the Linthacum revenge game?
I think them scheduling Missouri State in basketball in general is not good. Missouri State's a little too good.
Yeah. Good for Hannah Linthacum. Headed to Mo State. Payton, your headline.
My headline, it's more like a tweet. This comes from Ryan.
It is a tweet.
Yeah. Okay, so it's more like a caption, let's say. More like caption of the week. It comes from Ryan Hammer 09, who was kind enough to put this together. We talked about it a little bit in the main segment, but it's going to be Tennessee's transfer class. Ryan Hammer kind of put it best. This could be the best offensive team Rick Barnes has ever had at Tennessee. And it's not hard at all to see why. It kind of seems like a big-time tone shift for them. But they've added Tyler Lundblade from Belmont, Dai Ames from Cal, Miles Rubin from Loyola Chicago, Jalen Harrelson from Notre Dame, and Terrence Hill now from VCU. Terrence Hill, I believe, was and maybe Dai Ames. I thought I might have seen his name. The Hill for sure was a Kansas target. Kansas has been whiff city in the portal, but don't worry, their fan base would have you believe they wanted nothing to do with Bryson Tiller. So yeah, I mean, Tennessee to me has had far and away the most impressive portal class, and it came after like a mass exodus at the beginning. Estrella left and went to Michigan. His name escapes me. He went to Texas. Who was it?
Akpara left. Texas was. I said him in the main segment.
Is that Bailey?
Yes,
No,
Amari something.
Amari Bailey? Maybe
No,
Amari,
not Amari Bailey, but
he was a contributor.
Yeah.
Akpara, like Knowlton mentioned, and of course Jalen Carey is coming to Mizzou. So total tone shift.
And then Ament and Gillespie are gone too, but those are
right.
different reasons.
Ament's not coming back for sure.
No.
Okay.
Ament will be a top 10 draft pick. I don't think he will be.
Oh, geez. Well, there you go. He sure didn't look it for a lot of the year.
I would.
But anyways,
yes,
Tennessee,
that's all right, though.
To me, is unfortunately, I hate to admit it, they're the team to beat in the SEC, I think. Florida, if they get back Kenyulu and Hauk, or even add the guy from Iowa State, I'm not even going to bother with his name again.
Milan Momcilovic.
Momcilovic,
who is on the all you think he is from Europe, but is actually from the Midwest team.
Wow. Didn't know that.
Yep.
But regardless, I think Tennessee has unfortunately knocked it out of the park in the portal. I think they're going to be very, very good next year.
Payton staking his claim. My headline this week, Kenny mentioned it. I will be following up on it. Mizzou NFL draft mock-up. Shout out Mizzou today. Shout out Kyle for writing this little roundup. Of course, the NFL draft is this week. It is on Thursday. So I don't know. We'll have to maybe figure out some sort of way to post wrap it up. I don't know what we'll do for the NFL draft stuff. But yeah, Payton, you're going to be a happy man here. So a little roundup of picks from Kyle, just scouring the drafts. Zion Young projected number 25 overall to the Chicago Bears by both Mel Kiper and NFL.com. Mike Band, who's over there. Niners at pick 27. We don't like Walter Camp football because they have him going.
Yeah, I'll ignore the Walter football one.
Pick 35 to the Titans. Josiah Trotter. Mel Kiper has him going 61st to the Rams. Chris McClellan. Walter Football's got him going to also the Bears.
Oh, I love Walter Football. What a great site.
The other Walter Football writer, 59 to the Texans. So Chris McClellan, you heard it here first, will be on one member of the Unwritten Rules team. And then Kevin Coleman, a couple of 5th round projections to the Saints and Lions.
Kenny, if you could pick any Mizzou player this year to be a Texan, who would you pick?
Ahmad Hardy.
Connor Wesselman.
Man.
I'd get a Keegan Trost jersey. I feel like that would be a cool one.
That's a real grinder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I think I'd
journeyman.
Not to spin this on my own team, but I actually think I would take Ahmad Hardy on the Seahawks right now. I think I'd be very fine with that.
Well, yeah, because your starting running back is who?
Zach Charbonnet. It's great.
I love that protection.
We love the NFL draft. Yeah, you're looking sweet there with Zion Young. Could be back-to-back years for Peyton's Bears getting big time.
Yeah, Kenny was really happy for me when it happened last year.
Yeah, he'll be happy for you
for
again.
about a day. Then he texted me, "I can't do this."
It wasn't even a day. It was probably 15 minutes, and I just waited a day.
Draft on Thursday. Peyton, wrap us up.
What do you want to do first, Kenny? I'll let you decide.
Just do the player. Do the player.
This one comes from our
Yeah, great. Do you guys want to know what the score of the Astros game is too? Right now, it's 7-4 in the bottom of the 10th. It was 4-4, and then a former Cub gave up 3 runs.
Former Cub. I don't even know who. Brian King.
Yeah, it was Brian King. I like Brian King, just not a good 10th inning for him.
I'm sorry, Kenny. I know the Astros' struggles have really burdened you. So you know what? Out of respect, I will do the National last. This one comes from our
What if you
favorite
do an
TV series
Astro
of today's show
instead?
Guys,
Or would that be meaner?
what do you call a happy cowboy?
Cowboy. A brightened up
This joke
Bronco.
is sweet as candy.
I don't know.
Happy cowboy candy.
Kenny should know. He's
Hard
from
candy.
Texas.
A
Musketeer.
Jolly Rancher, guys.
That's a good one.
What do
Do
you
you guys
call
prefer-
a happy cowboy a Jolly Rancher? Thank
Do you guys prefer the hard candy Jolly Rancher or the chewy ones?
I haven't had a
I
chewy
don't
one
really
in
like Jolly
years.
Ranchers in general. I'm not gonna lie. They make my
Aaron
head
snuck
hurt.
them into the movie yesterday. Aaron, my roommate.
I'm very pro sneaking snacks into the movie.
I don't do it. I like to just get there. That's part of the experience is just buy it.
Mr. Richie
Saving a
Rich
lot of
over
money.
here. Jeez.
$50. I don't go to the
Yeah.
movies that often, as often as I'd like. But when I do, I'm like, all right, $50 for popcorn and what are you doing?
Fist my bump.
Fist my bump. Happy.
Where my room? Fist my bump.
Mizzou
Grace?
portal. Mizzou portal. Happy.
He doesn't get it. He doesn't
doesn't
get
I
it.
have no idea what you're
He
doing.
doesn't get it.
Rocky, happy.
Rocky happy.
2019
Where we go?
Washington
Question.
National
Where we go?
League.
Question.
This one is near and dear to
Yo,
Kenny's
Barrett
heart.
back? Question.
What?
Hmm?
Can I get my damn national?
Payton say joke? Question.
2019 Washington National of the Week is going to be Brian Dozier, longtime second baseman of the Minnesota Twins, traded over to the Los Angeles Dodgers in 2018, then signed with the Nationals for 2019, appeared in 135 games. He slashed 238, 340, 771. So a solid enough year. I think what people maybe remember him most for is his very fun bench celebrations with one Howie Kendrick, who we will definitely get to at some point in 2019 Washington National League.
It was Adam Eaton.
Was it Adam Eaton?
Yeah.
It was Adam Eaton and Brian?
In the video where they're doing the race car, it's Adam
Yeah,
Eaton. It's Adam Eaton and Howie Kendrick.
Man, how far the years have passed, huh? I don't even remember that anymore. But yeah, Brian Dozier. Kenny, do you want his stats in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think
No,
he's
thank
gonna
you.
read him
Did
anyway.
he shake his head no?
He did.
Okay, I won't do it then.
Oh. Thank you everybody for watching.
Made one
listening.
plate appearance. He got on base in the World Series.
Please subscribe on the YouTube.
No
Follow
recollection of it.
Spotify.
Do you have a recollection of anyone else having one plate appearance in that series?
Brian Dozier make Kenny sad? Question. Thank you everyone for watching, listening. Go watch Project Hail Mary. Go watch the NBA playoffs. I made it the whole show without doing an NBA playoffs headline, just so Kenny and Payton would be proud of me.
Or not?
Go research some more Mizzou basketball possible transfers. That's what I'll be doing for the rest of my week. We will talk NFL draft. We'll talk Mizzou men's basketball portal stuff. Maybe I'll do I'll do a little look ahead at the Arkansas series from Mizzou softball. I want them to try and salvage a tournament appearance. So thank you everyone for watching and listening. We will see you all next time.